Matthew and Keira here now, and I mean, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's great. It's the kind of film you don't see very often. It almost had a kind of it had a strong period feel, I felt. It almost had a kind of touch of brief encounter about it in the way it was shot.
Yes, we'll take that one.
Yeah. Can we put that on the poster?
Yeah.
No, it is.
Brief encounter.
Yeah, there you go.
Even better.
Yeah.
No, it's great. Your mother wrote the screenplay for it, didn't she? And you helped sort of push it with your contacts. You helped to push it through a bit.
I did, accidentally, I think.
Right.
No, I mean, when I was working with the director John Mabry, who also directed this, on The Jacket when I was 18, my mum actually came up to Glasgow to visit me, and she had just written the script and said, look, will you give me some notes on it? And I read it and just went, that's amazing, it's really beautiful. So gave it to one of the producers. And he said, is this something that you're interested in doing? And I hadn't even thought about it, but I just thought I'd say yes so that he might read it.
Yeah.
And so I accidentally kind of got involved.
Yeah. How much of the storyline is absolutely true? I mean, obviously it's based on real people who walked under the sun and all the rest. But I mean, how much of it's true, this extraordinary menage between Dylan and these two women in his life?
I'm not quite sure.
I think
a lot of it.
Yeah, it is very close to the truth.
Right.
But it is a fictional story. I mean, it's based on fact, but it is fiction.
Yes.
And I think we've had incredible support from the families of all parties, really, who've been fine with the fiction.
Well, for you, Matthew, I mean, Welsh is your first language, presumably. You've kind of grown up with Dylan Thomas and recited his poems and all the rest of it. So it must have been an extraordinary experience to play him, was it?
Yes, absolutely. It's sort of a double-edged sword in a way, that, you know, you get the opportunity to play this hugely Welsh iconic figure, but at the same time, you have to do it. So the pressure was...
Yeah.
Was he as sexy a man as, I have to say, I mean, I'm speaking because I watched it with a lot of women, and they found you very sexy. Well, they did, they really did. You smouldered. Well, actually, everybody smouldered, because I've never seen somebody cigarette smoked in one film in my life. There's always a fag going on.
Yeah.
Was Dylan actually a sort of a sex symbol in his circle?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially in the research I did, reading up on him, especially when he did his American poetry tours, he was like this rock and roll figure. And he... You know, maybe not known for his looks, but you know, his charm and his wit and his talent was just mesmeric.
But you play him as being, I mean, in this, he's a bit horrible, really. I mean, certainly where the women in his life.
Well, he's utterly selfish. He's utterly childlike in his selfishness.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's actually been fascinating, hasn't it, talking to people when they've seen the film, because the take on that character in particular is completely different. Some people say that he's demonic and horrible, and other people say, oh, he's mischievous and childlike and wonderful.
He's like a confident 15-year-old. But intellectually confident and sexually confident. There's a great scene, we haven't got it to show here, where you're in a bath when you're now living in Wales, and you're sitting there chatting to him. It's all very modern, it's all very bohemian, you know.
Yeah.
Just to explain the story, you've met as children.
Yeah,
you've known each other as children.
Childhood sweethearts.
Yes.
Childhood sexual partner on the beach when you were 15.
Yes, exactly. Right, but you haven't seen each other for ages. Meanwhile, you've got married, and then you meet again in a bar during the war.
Thunder booms.
Yes.
But I was going to say that so later in the film, there's a scene when you're naked in the bath and you're sitting very casually in the bath and you're chatting and stuff, and you suddenly look at her, fix her in the eyes, and say, "Go on, give us a kiss." And you do. And it's very modern in that sense. I felt like I was looking at it as a sort of kind of student drama, maybe set in the 1980s or 90s. You know?
I think it's quite interesting when you actually take people's perception of the 40s and what it was actually like. I'm sure it's quite different. And actually the research that we all did specifically about the characters and about that period in general, I think what you're dealing with is young people who are living in a time where death is literally raining down around them, and you hold on to life with absolutely everything in you. And I think it kind of explains a lot of the behaviour, some of the behaviour.
That's what I thought.
That they go through.
Because the Blitz is a constant backdrop to the film when it's in London. There are bombs dropping almost all the time. And there's two wonderfully shot sequences, one in a pub, where you think everyone's been killed, then all the lights come back on and it's fine. And then a much more black and dark scene. But anyway, let's see a clip of, you've only just re-met, and you're in a London pub, and being... Were you both 25? Were the characters 25 at this point?
I think Dylan's... Yeah, well...
I'm not quite sure. About 25.
Mid-20s. The sophistication, you know, this sort of intellectual elegance of these young people at that time is something I think which is almost unique. I don't think you'd see that with a couple of 25-year-olds having a drink in Soho today. But anyway, let's take a look. This girl Vera, I mean, despite the fact that she surrendered her virginity on a beach to Dylan Thomas when he was not much older, as we see her in the film, she's no pushover, is she, at all?
No, she's not.
She's got a lot of spirit about her.
I think that's what's wonderful about the film, is that you've actually got, and it's really rare, you've got two really strong female characters in it, and very often, I mean, you really don't get that. It's normally you're the only actress surrounded by a lot of men, which can be very nice, you know. But it was wonderful to actually have the opportunity to play this character who is quiet but very strong against Sienna's version of Catelyn, who is this sort of vivacious, extraordinary creature, and see a friendship between two women that are completely different and yet mutually respectful of each other.
Yeah, it works very well as well. I mean, the accents, your Welsh accent is terrific. And did you coach her?
I didn't know. I didn't at all. She turned up on day one of rehearsals with that accent, absolutely perfect.
How did you do it? Pluck it out of the air, or did you go to?
Fun. I don't know. I mean, half my mum's family is Welsh, so I suppose it's always sort of been around. But I really like working with accents. I find it I really enjoy it. It's sort of like diving into a completely new person.
So you've got you Welsh. You were okay. You've got you being Welsh. You've got Sienna being Irish, and you've got Cillian, who is Irish, of course.
Being English. Yeah, we actually all nearly swapped accents. Yeah, it was good. I mean, we had every time we had somebody on set that actually spoke in the real accent, so we could constantly go, is that the right sound? Is that okay? Good.
Well, let's see another clip. You do a fair bit of singing. In fact, the film opens with you singing.
Yeah.
And I have to say that you must have read the reports, and maybe they're true, maybe they're not, that you might be doing My Fair Lady as Eliza. Is there any truth in that at all, or is that just...
I have a policy never to admit to anything until I've signed on the dotted line, and I haven't signed anything.
All right,
okay.
So it sounds like it's under discussion. That would be great. That would be great.
But it was a great film the first time round.
But could you do... Yes, but I'm afraid the London accent wasn't very good.
It was questionable.
Go blimey, it was like Dick Van Dyke.
But it's funny how the London accent's changed. So
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, so
it's much less posh.
It's just completely different, that Cockney accent.
Cockney had elements of poshness to it. In fact, I was seeing a film involving real Cockneys during the war, and they didn't sound that dissimilar to the Queen.
Yeah.
Seriously, there was kind of an extra English thing going into it.
Yeah.
How did you find the singing in the film, though?
Terrifying.
Was it?
I had to do it live, and nobody... I mean, I recorded it before we actually started doing the film, and I thought I'd be doing it to playback and just miming.
Right.
And the day I got there, John, the director, said, no, actually, you're going to do it live in front of 160 people or something like that. I thought that my knees were going to buckle. I was absolutely terrified. And the first couple of times I tried to sing, my voice, I sounded like a pubescent boy. It was one of the most embarrassing moments of my entire life. So luckily that's not in the film. Yeah. And it's all right. Terrifying.
Well, we think there's more than a touch of Monroe, actually.
Oh, really?
I think it's not so much the singing, it's the way it's shot.
It's the way it's shot.
Absolutely, it's very clever, very clever.
Who did your lipstick, love?
The makeup artist Daniel on it. He's very good.
Very good.
I think the makeup's fantastic
on
both you and
Well, your lipstick was amazing.
Well, mine actually took longer to put on than hers.
Fantastic.
Well done.
Well done. Great.
What's he smiling at?
Smoldering lightly.
Is it true that... have I got this right? Did your friend Ewan Griffith, did he deliberately muck up his audition so you could get the part? Is that rubbish?
No, that's all a bit of good tabloid rubbish.
Oh, is it?
Yes. There's there's no truth in that rumour.
Speaking of tabloid rubbish, congratulations on your fairly recent action against a certain newspaper who alleged that you had an eating disorder, which you clearly don't. Fantastic. And your good old mum was in the papers this week. Again, saying that again, which I think everybody accepts, why did you feel it was necessary to say that you just are naturally thin?
I think she was probably asked about it in doing publicity for this film. I mean, she certainly wouldn't phone up and just choose to give an interview.
No.
I mean, she's wonderful, you know. She's defending me,
yeah.
And she's lovely.
And why did a lot of people decide just to push aside? We usually have done it actually when the press have come after us on falsities. But I was quite impressed by the way you went for them. Why did you do it? Was it because of the seriousness of the subject?
Yeah, I mean it was a very serious subject, and I think I don't actually read anything that's written about me in this particular one. My agent phoned up and said, look, I'm really sorry to have to bring your attention to it, but
you might have to do something.
But she actually said this is one of the worst things I've ever written about anybody, and I think
they were saying you were bearing responsibility for young girls starving themselves.
Yes, which is
pretty heavy,
horrendous on every level, and on a career level could potentially be horrendous as well. So I think it was just one. I think that took it a step too far.
Well, I think everybody, I saw your mother saying you're just like your father and you're naturally skinny and you have to eat like a horse even to sort of stay at the weight you are. I think everyone would...
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, really.
Inhale puddings in Wales. Her and Miller. I'd be lucky if I got a look in.
Talking of tabloid rubbish and Miller, are you and she, as the papers keep on saying, back together again now?
Categorically, no.
Oh, really?
No, another glorious tabloid exploitation.
So Rhys Evans has nothing to worry about then?
Not that I'm aware
Not
of.
that you Incidentally, I think Sienna is fantastic in this film. I think
she's wonderful, isn't she?
She's absolutely wonderful. I go so far as to say, and I don't mean this patronisingly, I think she's a revelation. I think she's absolutely fantastic.
I think it's amazing because it's amazing talking to people how many people don't want to believe that she's a really wonderful actress.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've worked with quite a few actresses and I think that she has an incredible talent. And I'm really excited to see her work. I think she chooses really interesting films. And just on a, you know, I loved working with her. I don't think I've ever worked with such a professional person, and she is a complete joy.
Well, I thought, to come back to where we started, the intensity of the performances, without making them sound as if they're over the top, but I mean the perfection of all the performances. I mean, it really was something else. You know, we both walked out on air. It was one of the best experiences we've had in the cinema for a long time.
Oh,
and I mean, it was
that's going on the poster as well.
I think we've got our poster.
It's beautiful to look at. The film's beautiful to look at, and you're all fantastic.
As are you, Keira. I get teased about this in our home all the time.
Oh.
Well, you see, this is what I'm
okay,
you're worse. You're worse than the news of the world and the people and the notion they were put together, Judy.
Brilliant.
What I say is, and I mean this with a full heart, it's a family joke. I mean, when I told my daughter Chloe, who's 21, last week, well, she's 21 in a week or two, I said, we've got Keira Knightley coming in, and she said, you'll be pleased, Dad. I said, I just think you're very, very attractive.
Thank you.
I don't know. I would
you see, there it goes again. Mainly curses. No, I didn't. No, obviously,
thank you very much.
Fishy, and a very good actress, and that's all I say, you know. And I say much the same about you.
Thank you, darling.
But that is a way of leading into one last question to you, Keira. We've interviewed some actresses who are very attractive who've said that over the distance that has sometimes been a hindrance in their careers. I mean, Judy Christie said that in the earlier part of her career.
Right.
Have you ever felt that about your face,
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I was told that I couldn't play a crack whore because you'd never believe that. So I suppose that there you go. That was a hindrance right there.
You could play a crack whore with good makeup.
Thanks, Judy.
Yeah.
I mean,
we all think she's looking a bit like a crack whore, don't we?
You make a lovely crack whore.
No, I mean with the makeup, right?
I'm sure with the makeup, right?
I'd go so far as to say that you wouldn't even need it.
What an amazing...
Viv's our makeup. Viv, could you make her look like a crack whore, do you think? She says it's no problem.
We'll have a crack whore makeover.
Okay,
we look forward to it.
Okay.
Well, look, it's lovely meeting you both, and congratulations on the film. It's fantastic. It really is.
Really
good. We loved it.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Nice to meet you both.
Thank you.